Thank you so much for listening in to today's 24/7 Office webinar. As you all know, today's topic is AI accounting. So my name is Christopher Olison, and I'm a manager of professional services here at 24/7 Office at the New York office. Just to give you a little bit of background information, I have a master's in business administration and work experience from PwC. For the past few years, I've been working at 24/7 Office, and my primary job these days is to help accounting firms implement efficient workflows with 24/7 Office, and help them utilize new technology and AI. I'm here with Frederick Colby, our manager of sales at the New York office. Frederick, do you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Frederick Hobby. I am the manager of sales here in New York. So my experience, I have worked mostly in sales for most of my professional life. That is for various tech companies, both software companies and hardware companies. And I had experience working for Dell. As a sales manager in 24/7 Office, I work closely together with our New York sales team, and I also communicate with customers on a regular basis through meetings and calls to help them make informed decisions. Yeah, the agenda for today, we are gonna give you a brief introduction to 24/7 Office, which is our ERP system. And we're going to continue with the main part, which is AI accounting. And we have also some bullet points set up for you, which Christopher will talk a bit about. So that's a bit about who the AI technology is for. And then we'll give you our suggestion on how to get started with AI and look at some tech requirements, and then we'll show you a live presentation of 24/7 Office AI-powered accounting engine, and then discuss what we should expect from AI. I guess a lot of you have, maybe wonder a bit about what to expect from it and how it might improve, various accounting tasks.
Yeah.
We also have some Q&A at the very end of this webinar.
And I just have a side note here. Feel free to write any questions that you might have throughout the webinar. We'll try to see if we can catch some of them throughout the webinar, but we're also gonna have a Q&A session towards the end of the webinar. And if we don't get to answer your question during the webinar, we'll get back to you ASAP after the webinar.
Yeah, so as I said, I'll give you a brief introduction to 24/7 Office. So for those of you not familiar with ERP, also known as Enterprise Resource Planning, it is a system that at its most basic level allows for all departments and functions across a business to work in one seamlessly integrated system. And one of the biggest advantages of implementing an ERP system is the positive impact it has on collaboration. And it will help your business make smarter decisions, serve your customers better, for instance, and work more efficiently overall by streamlining your business processes. So 24/7 Office is a cloud-based ERP system that has been developed since 1997, and it is the first cloud-based ERP system actually in the world. Our system is used by more than 40,000 businesses from various industries and of all different sizes. So 24/7 Office has built in a variety of highly customizable modules that are seamlessly integrated and designed to help small and mid-sized businesses scale. And with the modular approach, customers have the freedom to choose the modules based on what best meets the current needs. technical capabilities of the business. So modules can be implemented in stages, so you don't have to implement everything at once. You can take it step by step, and it's also easy to add more users and also more integrations if you have anything like industry-specific software that you want to add to 24/7 Office. I'll talk more about integrations in a bit. Our modules, we have a CRM module where you can manage all your sales and customer processes. An invoicing module where you can set up recurring invoices, and we have a project and time management module, which gives you a great overview of all ongoing projects, all its tasks, subtasks, participants, hours registered, documents, and much more. We also have a reporting module, which allows for advanced reporting and customized reports. And of course, we have our accounting module, which has the built-in AI that will automate the tedious and time-consuming accounts payable processes. We'll get back to that in a bit. Furthermore, 24/7 Office is a scalable scalable system and has the ability to keep pace with your business trajectory, unlike many of our competitors. So our ERP system also enables you to reduce manual work by 50% or more, and that is by automating and customizing workflow and approval processes. So it's a very efficient system to work in. Yeah, so the last 5 to 6 years, we've experienced tremendous growth. More and more businesses, we see that more and more businesses actually converting to cloud-based platforms, especially ERP systems as well. So, and that is based on the level of efficiency that can be achieved through automation, but it's also based on the fact that all the buzz that is created around AI. It's a lot of excitement around that. So the majority of these firms that have converted to 24/7 Office throughout the last year are basically accounting firms. And another factor to our growth is the competitive advantage accounting firms achieve using 24/7 Office. So in Norway, we see that accounting firms using 24/7 Office grows twice as fast as compared to the industry average. We don't have time to give you a deep, go very deep into details on each module, since this is basically for the AI. We're going to focus on the AI aspect of this webinar, but here you have at least a picture of the dashboard in 24/7 Office. You can create multiple dashboards using the highly customizable widgets. So you can basically customize each dashboard to that. So it's relevant to your role. Like you can make a sales dashboard. Maybe it's accounting that you're working mostly with, or it's projects. So it's very customizable. We also have a mobile app accessible in both iOS and Android smartphones. So it's very easy to register, for example, expenses, provide input, and stay updated while you're on the move. Although 24/7 Office offers modules to manage most core business processes, we also allow for third-party integrations through our open API. So this enables businesses to integrate industry-specific softwares, as I mentioned, and standardized solutions like bank, for example, email, marketing, customer service, and other applications. And today we have actually more than 200 integrations connected to our ERP system. And as I mentioned earlier, we have customers from various industries and of all different sizes. So unlike many of our competitors, 24/7 Office is equipped with necessary functionality to handle growth and increasing number of users and data transactions. So compared to other ERP vendors out there like NetSuite and SAP, we offer a more affordably priced ERP system that is built specifically with these small and mid-sized businesses in mind. So it's easy to overcome in terms of price for small to mid-sized businesses, as NetSuite and SAP's might be sometimes out of the price range. Yeah, and of course we have the AI and accounting, which is what brought you here in the first place to our webinar. So now, obviously, some accountants are skeptic to this technology, while others consider how it can help add value to their business. Our AI will contribute to increased efficiency and productivity, as it's able to handle accounts payable processing at a superhuman speed. So we'll demonstrate for you that shortly, and Christopher will talk more about the importance of combining human intelligence with artificial intelligence and what to expect from it. So it's not about AI. It's not about AI really taking all of the responsibilities, which is related to bookkeeping. It is actually it's all about working alongside the AI.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for the 24/7 Office introduction of our ERP system. Now, before we get into our main topic of the day, we would like to ask you a question. We got a few polls set up throughout the webinar. We hope to engage you, the audience, and make our webinar a bit more, let's say, interactive. Yeah, so let's see here. Are we able to pull up? Yeah, there it is. Perfect. So the first poll of the day is your firm using a true SaaS or cloud-based accounting solution?
All right, thank you, Frederick. So the reason for these polls today is simply to gain some insight on where you stand in regard to technology. So yeah, we'll get, we'll touch more on this later. So yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of accountants are probably tired of the buzzword AI, and that's completely understandable. We're constantly presented with news feeds about AI. AI is the future. AI will take your job. AI is this and that. And often these are statements from articles, marketing campaigns, or companies that doesn't even provide AI or can't provide concrete examples of how their AI works. So anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to listen to us today, and we hope you get something out of it.
All right, I see that we got 67% voted so far. Just wait another 10 seconds and then finish it up.
Mm-hmm.
So far, we actually got 40% who, or 20% that says yes, they are using a SaaS solution, and 40% yes, but primarily on-premise solutions, and then we got 20% on the two last answers. So they prefer on-premise solutions or simply not sure. So that gives us a picture of where the audience is today. Standing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Great. Yeah. So so I guess we finished with the poll. Chris, you have a note here that with a statement saying AI will be necessary for accounting firms to compete in the future. Can you please elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure, Frederick. So before getting into what I'm thinking about this and this question, I want to ask the audience another question, just something to think about. Is your company willing to adapt? And what if I told you that AI will be necessary to stay relevant in the future? So the question is, will you, if it's necessary to compete or stay relevant in the future, would you take action now? And that is kind of the one of the questions that we're gonna touch a lot upon today. So just to give you some background information, the AI that we're going to talk about today concerns accounts payable, and at least that's where 24/7 Office started its AI journey. And by that we mean automating the tedious and time-consuming tasks related to accounts payable. So, capturing the invoice, receiving the invoice, and extracting the data from the invoice, manually typing in the data entry, sending, or yeah, they might even have to send the invoices on an approval process, and waiting for the people in charge of or responsible for the approval of the expenses to approve them, and then finally create a journal entry and so forth. So when you look at it this way, it kind of seems like a time-consuming process, and it can be a time-consuming process. So that is so. Going back to the question that you asked, Frederick, why is it necessary to compete in the future? And from our experience, and as you will see later, 24 we like from our experience and what the AI can provide, because 24/7 Office provides a solution that automates this accounts payable process. We see that this solution will obviously give accounting firms that adopt it and start using it an advantage. And that is simply why we say that it will be necessary in the future, because the ones who doesn't adopt it or adopt it will be, it will be struggling to compete. And this might seem very self-explanatory, but yeah. But let me just get on to the first point of today. Who is it for? And plain and simple, we think AI is for all accounting firms. I mean, 24/7 Office, you can use it. You don't have to be an accounting firm to use it, but we do partner up with a lot of accounting firms that provide and help their clients, their end business customers, businesses use 24/7 Office as not just an accounting tool, but also a providing all the different business tools as Frederick talked about, the different modules, CRM, project management, billing, and so forth.
Right.
But we say that AI is for all the accounting firms, and but we understand there's various levels of willingness to adapt to this technology right now. So one of our main priorities these days is to inform accounting firms of the impact that AI most likely will have on the industry. And the way we see it is that eventually all firms will be forced onto a platform that uses AI. Just think of Microsoft Excel. You please tell me if you find a accounting firm that doesn't use use the technology and is able to compete. So when Microsoft Excel was introduced, we all eventually understood that we had to use the tool in order to be efficient enough to compete. And but the thing is, this time is a little bit different. The technology AI is already here, and from our as far as we can see, it's the early adopters that will reap the benefit from this technology. And that's why we bring in the question, who is it for? Because we meet a wide range of professionals, accounting professionals, and some are really comfortable in their current position, and they prefer their on-premise system, and yeah, it's been working great for them until now. Or it might still actually be working really great for them.
Yeah. You also have another note here, Christopher. Says choose a system that utilizes machine learning, not RPA. Could you please explain?
Yeah. So again, I mentioned, you have accounting firms, and you have a different variety of willingness to adapt to new technology. And many firms, the way we see it, they might be waiting to embrace new technology until it has established itself even more. So the main drawbacks to this with AI is that the AI needs to be trained in order to provide the automation that is necessary. It needs to be trained. It needs a lot of data, and this data it uses to reach the automation that you want it to reach. So you asked me about RPA and machine learning. So
that's right.
So most of us, when we're introduced to a new technology, we expect it to just perform. And AI is not a plug-and-play system. And you might have heard of RPA. RPA stands for Robotic Process Automation, and it uses predetermined code to automate processes. And these processes, they can be fixed. It can be like an example of this can be like a bot that you teach to perform a standardized process. And the key word is a standardized process. And this is why we stress the importance of knowing the difference between a rule-based RPA system and a system that uses machine learning. And the 24/7 Office, or just to elaborate on that for a second, machine learning has smart algorithms that allows it to adapt and learn over time. So an AI that uses machine learning can sense, for instance, the details on the invoices, maybe down to like an item line basis, as well as comprehend or understand the context. It will then act for you, and it will learn from the input that you're giving to it. And this is necessary to achieve automation of complicated processes. All right, so let's get back to the second point here. What are the tech requirements? First of all, if your company wants to try out AI, you think that it's the future. You will have to, from as far as we can see, you will have to use a cloud-based accounting system. And Frederick, you might ask, why do we have to use a cloud-based accounting system? We have 40% here who prefer their on-premise systems. Well, the reason for this is that a cloud-based system can utilize all the data that it captures from all its users. So for instance, 24/7 Office, our AI engine, has been trained on data captured from all our 40,000 customers and hundreds of millions of transactions and invoices. And this is what we call the macro data. And if you compare that to an on-premise solution, on-premise, you have you will run into situations where the data that is captured, it will be scattered on various in-house servers or maybe like cloud-hosted servers. So and taking this back to the question of RPA and machine learning, I mentioned that RPA will help you automate standardized processes, but once it hits a certain complexity, that's when you need a system that can adapt. And in order to do that, it needs a large amount of data. And that, as far as we can see, cannot be achieved with an on-premise solution. So we got a cloud-based accounting system and then machine learning. We'll have to, from our experience, you will have to use an AI system that utilizes machine learning. And so machine, like through we expect or we predict that the 24/7 Office engine will, because it's utilizing machine learning, it will eventually reach 99% automation of all types of invoices or accounts payable. the accounts payable process over time. And but how long this will take really depends on the complexity of these invoices. Like for instance, if you start using the system now, it will have a certain amount of automation, and to reach complete automation depends on the complexity. And the reason for the accounts payable process to be, the reason why it's complicated is that all they receive vendors, they do in fact change. They change over time. So you need a system that can handle that and can change that. Yeah. All right. That was a lot of information and a lot of talk. Let's jump into the live demo.
Yeah, let's do it.
Again, let's see. Feel free to ask questions.
Yeah, but have we gotten any questions? I can't see it. I think it's because you are the organizer.
Yeah. But none so far.
Okay. Yeah, don't be shy, guys. Just send us some questions, and then we'll answer them as soon as possible.
Oops. So here we got a demo client, and you can see that we have a lot of invoices that we already sent into the system. All these are different invoices that the system have received. So I prepared an email with about 10 to 13 invoices that I'm gonna send, and Outlook will probably it'll probably take some time before the invoices will be sent out. But once the AI receives these invoices, it will start extracting the information from the invoices. So let me hit refresh, and this is the AI engine. We also have, as Frederick showed you earlier, we have a separate dashboard with all the different modules.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just give it a second here.
Yeah. So if any one of you are interested in, while we're waiting now for the invoices to appear, if any one of you are interested in maybe having setting up a meeting with us to have go more deeper into each module, you're more than welcome to contact us, and we can schedule a presentation for that as well.
Yeah. All right. So now we see that we're receiving some of the invoices. And normally, you would have your clients either send these invoices into the system for you, or you could have the vendor actually sending them straight into the system as they're billing you or invoicing you. And again, this is a demo client, so it's really hard to train it, because in order for the system to be trained, it needs to receive invoices from the same vendor over a period of time. But we'll talk about expectations after the presentation here. So it's really efficient to use. You use the arrow keys here to go from invoice to invoice, and I can see if I hit refresh, there might be some more.
Yeah, maybe did you show the hotkeys? There's a very efficient way of working in the AI module. So it's about using the keyboard at all times to really get the most efficiency out.
Yeah, thank you, Frederick. So if I hit H, it'll show me all the different hotkeys that will help you work very efficiently. So I can remove and add the voucher or the picture of the invoice. And in order to work efficiently in the system, we usually recommend using the arrow keys, and then simply select the invoice. Here, you can see that it highlights the item, like on an item line basis, all the different item lines from the invoice here. And I can select it here to see all the different the different amounts from the different lines. So it allows you to capture a lot of data, more data than you would if you did this manually, because you wouldn't have, no accountant will sit and type in every single item line. So since it's a new or a demo client, it did not detect the vendor. So I will see if we have it in the system. So I will search for it, and it will process it. So mentioned earlier that the system will need to be trained. So eventually, it will detect all the different values necessary to create the journal entry. So we have invoice number, invoice date, terms, due date, and amount.
Right.
Yeah. So here, if I click on invoice number, it zooms in on the picture of the invoice and shows us where it has detected the invoice number. It pretty much works as an OCR on steroids pretty much, and it gives you different confidence level that how confident that the system is that this is the invoice number. So I'll tell it, okay, that's good. I'll go on to the next line. And here, it actually detected the wrong one, so I'll go down. So from up here, I can see that the invoice date is in fact the 17th. And the due date, the due date is correctly, found. And then I'll move on to maybe the next invoice here. Oops. So from the perspective of the accountant, it's really efficient to work through the information you check out. You make sure that all the different values are correct. You can edit or delete item lines here, or change the GL code. I can change it on a group level, or I can go down and change it on individual levels, as well as adding departments and other classes. So so that is how it's very easy. It makes a complicated process really simple. And you might be asking, well, that's one part of the process. Yes, as the system receives the invoices, it actually sends the invoices on an approval process. Here we don't have that because it's a demo client, but you can predetermine an approval process, and once the system receives the invoices, a notification of the person who is responsible to approve the invoices will be prompted with a message saying, "Hey, you have an invoice for approval." So the accountant actually only has to go in, select the approved invoices, review the invoices, make sure that that all the data that is captured is correct, and then eventually the system will become better and better at detecting the correct information, and ultimately be able to automate the entire process for you. We got some more actions you can, if you need to do deferrals or accruals, you can transfer it to the what's it called, the original 24/7 Office accounting module, which also is very efficient to use, especially for more advanced accounting. Or if not, you can just simply send it, post it as bill, and it will be, if you're using any payment solutions such as bill.com, you can pay it straight from 24/7 Office. All right, that's good.
Yeah, great. Oh yeah, and by the way, you can also actually on the right side there where Christopher pulled up the invoice, maybe it appears a bit small on one screen, so you can actually by having got two monitors connected, you can choose to actually present have the invoice showing up on the second screen.
Yes. So here I just use the hotkey Shift D, and it gives me the option to just move this around and put it on a separate screen if I want to.
Exactly.
All right, let's get back to expectations and
So what can you expect from the technology? That was my question to you, Christopher.
So I mentioned earlier that using a cloud-based system allows you to capture data from all 40, like in this case 40,000 plus customers of 24/7 Office. And our AI then utilizes the data that is captured from these different, from on a macro scale, all the clients. But there may be specific like GL counts used by like a client of yours that maybe it might ignore, or it might be different from what the system has learned on a macro scale, and this is what we call micro level. So this is where the accountant comes in. You have to make changes and teach the AI for this specific client to understand what it needs to do on a micro scale. So this is eventually what carries more weight compared to the macro level learning. So as we saw in the demo, it already captures and automates most of the values, but in some situations you only receive invoices like once per quarter or once per year, and these can take longer to automate. We have customers such as PwC and KPMG who've seen a great automation of up to 80%, and as mentioned earlier, our goal is to automate 95% and more within the next few years. And then once you hit the level of 96% accuracy, that's when you actually outperform the human capacity to like the human accuracy, and that's when we can start automating the whole process. When we don't have to or need the accountant or bookkeeper to review the invoices, and this is when it becomes really interesting. And this is also going back to the initial question: who is it for? Well, it's for those who want to use the technology, but we bring out the idea that the ones who adopted the early adopters will see the greatest benefit faster than those who adopted late, and that can be a matter of being able to compete or not.
That's right.
All right, I think that's enough for now, and we have a final poll before we go into the Q&A session.
Yeah. Is your company actively looking for new ways to improve workflow efficiency? All right.
Wow. Okay.
You let me know the results, Christopher. I'm excited to hear them.
Yeah, I mean, we got 50% voted so far. On the first poll, we had 60 something. So I think we're closing. We're close to reaching all the votes. All right. Yeah. So good. We got some questions. Let's just finish up the poll, and then we'll get to. I'll do a brief summary, and then we'll get into the Q&A. All right. Let's post this. Can you see the results?
Yeah.
All right. That's it's. I think we obviously like the the result of this poll, but it's something that we see as important. It's not just something we're trying to sell. It will be the future, so it's something that we need to bring the message out. And so just to summarize it, we we stress the importance of being an early adopter of AI because of the reason that you need to teach it, and it needs data in order to reach the level of automation that you're seeking. Then we talked about the tech requirements, that we recommend the use of cloud-based system, and also is choosing an AI that uses machine learning and not RPA. And finally, for those who do want to try it out, and we recommend starting on a few clients. Figure out if you have any clients who are interested in trying out this technology, and then start on a few, and then take it from there. Pick out the clients who have a significant amount of AP traffic, where it makes sense to introduce this technology. So we have a question here: does it only work for AP, or can this? Sorry. Is basically, can it be used on the AR or accounts receivable side of business? So we already have a lot of automation of accounts receivable on our side. You have recurring or repeating invoices, and that actually we see for a lot of our business partners, accountants, we see that the process of accounts receivable can actually be automated through other types of technologies. Artificial intelligence is not something that we have included yet on that end, because we're already seeing such great results. We have a question as: can it be used for physically scanned invoices? As you saw, we send the invoices to the AI, and it was primarily PDF or PDF files, and the system does recognize scanned invoices, but there has to be a certain level of quality to these scanned invoices. You can't. It has to be a certain standard, of course. But yeah, it does accept scanned invoices, and you can also take pictures of these invoices and send it to the system. But we also 24SevenOffice, with our partners, we work and help accounting firms implement what we see are efficient workflows using 24SevenOffice, and one of the workflows is pretty much just reaching out to vendors and have them send invoices straight into the retrieval center, so you don't have to waste time collecting these from the client or from the vendor. So someone's asking, I'm interested in learning more about actually managing my client status. I'm not sure if I'm completely understanding the question, and feel free to shoot us an email, and we'll get back to you. Someone's asking if that it seems like this would disrupt bookkeepers in the industry. What will this change the role of the bookkeeper or accountant? Obviously, I feel like this is a topic that has been covered a lot in. If you go to any accounting, what's it called?
Are you talking about like articles?
Any type of articles. The question is always, will AI take over and take your job, and so forth. And our opinion on this is that yes, obviously it will take over the manual and repetitive standardized processes, and in this case also more complicated AP processes. But we don't see that as necessarily a bad thing for accountants, because it will pretty much open up the doors for accountants to take on more challenging and tasks that and like yeah, take on more challenging tasks and actually maybe produce more quality for their clients.
Right.
Do you have any thoughts on
No, you're absolutely right. It's you will get so much more time on your hands as your efficiency will increase with an AI by your side. So the amount of work, I mean, that you maybe spent on number crunching can now be used for or bringing more value to your clients, and which is exactly what you said. So it's you can really boost the efficiency of you and your company by implementing an AI to help you with the AP processing. Yeah.
All right, so I'm not seeing any more questions coming in, so I think it's time for us to wrap up this this webinar.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, you can contact us by email or just call us as well if you want. If you have any questions, if you want to set up, if you need if you want to have a presentation of the other modules, if you're interested in that, then just feel free to get in touch with us and we'll schedule that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much for listening in. Reach out if you're interested. We also provide a free consultation on AI, and we hope you enjoyed it and have a great evening.